The Rise of Skywalker footage shown recently at D23 showed a couple of images of some old Imperial-class Star Destroyers organized into a large, intimidating fleet. By messing with the levels, you can see that they have a red border painted along their sides and what looks like a large ventral cannon. Today I wanted to throw out a theory I haven't been able to shake, that the fleet is the new canon version of a concept from Legends, the Katana fleet. Introduced in the original Thrawn trilogy, the Katana fleet was made up of 200 Republic dreadnoughts, so this was before the events of the original trilogy. But keep in mind that book was written before the prequels were a thing, so it was basically just making up history. Basically, the entire fleet was launched into hyperspace and lost for over 50 years. When Grand Admiral Thrawn returned to the known galaxy after the death of the Emperor, he began searching for the ships to build up his fleet. The New Republic did the same, and so it became a race to claim the long-lost ships. I think the obvious assumption with these Star Destroyers is to assume that they're affiliated with the First Order or maybe just the Emperor in whatever form he's currently in. Red is often used by the Empire and the First Order, and of course we already know that the Sith troopers are coming with their red armor. Maybe the Star Destroyers belong to them. Ray Sloane's investigation into the Empire during the Aftermath trilogy revealed nearly a quarter of the Empire's fleet was unaccounted for after the Battle of Endor. Where did they go? This could be them waiting for the right moment to strike, and that could mean the Super Star Destroyer Eclipse is with them. Maybe they're the Star Destroyers of the Imperial Remnant left abandoned out in the unknown regions after the transition into the First Order. Or maybe they're just a fleet of Star Destroyers that were built and never got the chance to be used. Whatever the reason for their existence, I kinda like the idea that the Resistance races to find them. They were nearly wiped out at the end of The Last Jedi, so how are they going to be able to put up a fight against the First Order? Well, a fleet of unused Star Destroyers certainly wouldn't hurt. Maybe that's why Rey, Finn, and Poe are going into the Death Star's wreckage. The coordinates for the fleet could be hidden inside. Then what's left of the Resistance finds the fleet, and boom, they're back in the fight. I am a little worried that from an audience point of view, it could be confusing if Imperial Star Destroyers wind up fighting First Order Star Destroyers, because that might just look like a bunch of triangles shooting at each other. How do you tell a good guy ship from the bad? And I'm especially talking about the members of the audience that just watch the Star Wars movies and nothing else. Well, if you slap a big red stripe on every quote-unquote good guy ship, now there's at least a way to tell them apart. Battlestar Galactica did a similar thing in its series finale, when a group of Cylons on the side of the humans painted red across their chests so their human allies and the audience could tell friend from foe. But even if the Resistance did find all those ships, how would they be able to control them all? You'd need a crew of thousands to man just one Star Destroyer. Well, the Katana fleet of Legends were all slaved together, meaning each ship required a much smaller crew. Not only that, but the flagship was able to control every other ship in the fleet, which is how they all wound up lost together. I imagine the Resistance has grown at least a little bit since their heavy losses in The Last Jedi, so maybe they'll have enough people to command the flagship, which then in turn commands the rest of the fleet. I already know that part sounds very unlikely. I'm pulling way too much from Legends, and it just sounds like a lot to explain in the movie itself, but I'm really into the idea that the fleet actually winds up being part of the Resistance. It's a great reason for our heroes to enter the Death Star's wreckage, and I also think it could open up some moral problems for the Resistance. What do they do with that much power? It's not a super weapon, but combined, they could probably do enough damage to destroy a planet, which, again, we've seen some damage being done in that D23 footage. I could also see these ships being connected with Lando. We know he's returning, and he seems like the kind of guy that would just have a line on a bunch of unknown ships somewhere. But what do you guys think? Are those Star Destroyers similar to the Katana fleet from Legends? Is it just sitting out in space somewhere waiting to be picked up by the Resistance? Or is it part of the First Order, a holdover from the Imperial days? Or is it a completely independent thing aligned with the Emperor? Let me know your theories in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.